Tonight on an all-new Monsterland, we get the band back together again for the first time since the Salt Fork Showdown. Bigfoot's getting a little handsy, your monster mails, games, and more. Ronnie, let's continue to make this quarantine our bitch. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to a wicked mystery. A paranormal perfect storm known simply as Monsterland. The Monsterland podcast is recorded live in an undisclosed location somewhere in the heart of high strangeness, just outside of Monsterland, Massachusetts. And now, here are your hosts, from Travel Channel's Expedition Bigfoot, author-researcher Ronny LeBlanc, and from History's The Curse of Oak Island Drilling Down, actor-host Matty Blake.
October 2019, Salt Fork State Park, Ohio, the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Ronnie, you and I hit the road, driving some, 13 hours, was it?
Yep, 13 hours each way. And what a trek that was.
We went to go spend the weekend with Bob Gimlin, thanks to the kindness of Russ Akert, who was on the show just a week ago.
Yeah.
And while there, we met some wonderful people, including Bob Gimlin. We got to spend the weekend with these people. And we met two people, Dr. Rebecca Foster and Jeff Beyers. And Ronnie, what do you get when you take four basic strangers, for all intents and purposes, and put them in a very traumatic experience in the woods, a traumatic, scary, and also exhilarating experience in the woods? What do you get?
A little paranormal magic, man. It was amazing what we had encountered on not just that particular night, but the following night and in different locations. So it seemed to follow and reappear wherever we went.
Yes, absolutely. And we were hoping we didn't drive 13 hours to Whistle Dixie, although it was nice to meet Bob Gimlin and all that. And we wanted to hang out with Russ and everything, and meet the people. But we were definitely hoping for some magic, and boy, did we get it. And of course, as these things go in an unexpected way. So tonight on the podcast, we finally have, and for those of you who listen to this show, you know we were in Ohio. You know what happened. We played the sound back then. The episode was released, I believe, in October of 2019. Right. It's called something like the Ohio Bigfoot Adventure. So scroll back. You might want to listen to that episode. Those two episodes. It was a two-parter. Interview with Bob Gimlin, right. Interview with Russ Akert, and then the sounds of what we're going to go over tonight we played back then. So you might want to go back, listen to that episode, and then listen to this. But either way, you don't have to, because we're going to play the sounds again tonight. What we never had a chance to, right. What we never had a chance to do, Ronnie, was have the people we experienced it with on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited we got them to be on together, because what the four of us experienced, it's a bummer that Russ wasn't there with us, because he was taking care of Bob.
Yes.
And this was like 1:32 in the morning.
Yes.
But to have the four of us together to kind of recollect that experience was pretty incredible, man.
Yes, so that's going to go on in just a couple seconds here. The two of them, the two of us, will replay the sound, and we'll really, it's a fantastic interview. I'm so glad, like you said, we got them both on. And it's funny, I was editing it this morning, Ronnie, and I was like, boy, we're like, we only spent the weekend together, really. And there was definitely a bonding that went on. Like, I don't even know a lot about their lives, other than this. And I don't know a lot about them other than those moments we spent with them. My sense is they're wonderful people.
Yeah, great people.
But I think being through that thing together bonded us in a way. You go through, it wasn't a trauma, I don't want to say that, but if you go through,
it was very exciting. It was like I said, it was some paranormal magic, but it was a lot of electricity that was happening, because I think the elements of also having heard at a psychic medium to see kind of beyond what we couldn't see in the darkness was pretty stellar.
Yeah. And like, and like to share it with them, it just made me feel like we were connected in a deeper way. You know, you go through a heightened emotional experience, I guess would be the way to say it.
Yeah, true.
Right. Be it a birth or a death or a paranormal thing or whatever. Like we were just like, okay, the second we saw each other, you know, the second they popped up, we all just were saying like, oh my God, it's like no time has passed. It's been almost a year. It'll be a year in October.
Right.
And it was like, hi brother, hi sister. You know what I mean? So it's really cool. So why don't we just get right into it?
Let's do it.
This interview, I started because I had time to edit it because we're home. You know, there's a bunch of preamble, we catch up and everything. Let's just get right into the action. When this interview kicks in, you're going to see them for those of you watching. You're going to hear them for those of you listening. And when this interview picks up, we are diving into the audio footage of what happened to us in the forest last year at the Bigfoot conference in Ohio. A little bit about our. Say it again, Ronnie.
Salt Fork State Park.
Thank you.
That's something.
I kept calling it what I kept calling it South Fork because of Dallas, the show Dallas. I was a kid. I was like, "Where's Bobby? Where's JR? Where's John JR?" South Fork. You're like, it's Salt Fork. It's Salt Fork. Saltworth. What? A little bit about our guests before we get to them, just so there's some context. Dr. Rebecca Foster, obviously the female of the foursome, is a Ronnie. Describe her. She's like a what does she call herself? Is she a medium, a psychic medium?
Yeah, I mean, she's able to tap into energies, whether it's ghosts and spirits, and even communicating with Sasquatch. So it was really awesome to kind of be there while she's seeing things and experiencing it, like kind of backing it up. And she talks about that in the interview, that we were both experiencing it at the same time. So it was kind of corroborating what was happening. But she is intuitive and has the ability to communicate with the dead, really, and other life forms.
If you want a reading, you can reach out to her on social media, and she does readings. I think she's taking a little break right now because of the crazy corona pandemic. She said she would take a little emotional break, but she'll be back at it, I'm sure, very soon. You know, it's funny. She's so, again, like, yeah. Oh, she drops a bombshell on us in this interview about how do I say this without giving it up?
Yes,
something neither of you and I knew about, and it's post what we're about to talk about, like going on now. So she drops that bombshell on us. And then the other one who's just a sweetheart, Jeff Beyers. Jeff Beyers owns Creatureplica, and I have one right behind me, Ronnie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you've got one. So this is what Jeff Beyers, our guest, makes, and he's a very experienced squatcher. And he makes these awesome, for those of you who are not watching the video, they are basically like beautifully crafted dolls is not the right word, you know.
Yeah, almost like action figures.
Action figures. Thank you.
Yeah, they are amazing sculptures of, like, mine is a Yeti. You have the North American Sasquatch, and
right
so
here.
Just cool stuff.
You've got the Yeti. He does the Horror Hound, the Louisiana Rougarou, the Sasquatch. It's about, what do you say, like probably 5 to 6 inches tall. The detail is exquisite. The musculature, they're awesome gifts. So just go to creaturereplica.com and order yours today. Jeff is great people, and Dr. Rebecca is so sweet and so talented at what she does. So without any further ado, let's get to that interview, and let's hear the team's perspective, not just Ronnie and I's perspective, the team's perspective, what we went through in the forest almost a year ago. They flank you, correct?
Yeah, yes.
So you guys all felt you were being flanked. And Rebecca, you have a special gift with these creatures. So you were actually getting mental messages, correct? And do you remember what they were? What were you feeling, or what message were you getting from these things when we were going through that?
I recall we started walking down. I just felt at some point on both excursions, I felt that we were just supposed to stop. I always feel as if they put forward this halt, stop message. And I don't think I ever felt threatened. It wasn't a threatening event. We were just amongst them, and I'm pretty sure they were just checking us out and messing with us. That was such a funny night, though. I'm trying to not laugh about what happened altogether.
There was very funny moments, like, for example, when we were going through this, you didn't tell me, and you started playing a recording of a Native American shaman calling out, like doing a Sasquatch prayer.
Something moved.
Fuck.
I just scared the shit out of me. Okay.
There was that moment, and there was a moment when a branch grabbed onto us. We got tangled up in a branch. We thought it was a Bigfoot head.
The sticker bush grabbed us.
So there were funny moments.
I'm getting the chills like a It was just a. Oh, we're pricker bush. Yeah, it's a pricker. Ow! Oh, I just stuck my hand. Oh my god! We just got attacked by a bug in a pricker bush. Holy shit! We just got tangled up in a. Me too. All right.
Oh, is that a branch?
Yeah, it's a pricker bush.
Okay.
I got wrapped up in it. You okay?
It's right there.
We got tangled up in a branch. We thought it was a Bigfoot head.
The sticker bush grabbed us.
So there were funny moments, and there were two main moments. The moment I'm about to play was when we felt like we were being flanked, and then we saw basically an orb which turned into these red eyes. And I'm going to play this audio now. Then we had a second event where, Jeff, you actually got charged, which we'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to play this audio for you.
Right, that was crazy.
And you guys tell me what comes up in your mind as you hear this. Let's just do a little memory lane here. Now, it might be a little meta because I'm playing our podcast and Ronny and I talking about it with our producer, and then we play the sound of the event. So don't be confused when you hear my voice again. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this. So again, this was recorded on, this is released on October 26, 2019. It's called the Bigfoot Mission. And here is the audio of us in the woods when we see the red-eyed anomaly. Here we go.
You could say I picked up.
Ronny's got eyes. Ronny's got red eyes.
No.
Ronny's got red eyes. Holy.
You hear her laughing at me.
Just go like this with your, I don't know if it's a car, but just move your head back and forth. We're right in the center.
Right over here.
I'm seeing two. Hold it right here. Straight at those red lights. I got it. I just had it for a second. Right here.
I just got it.
Get right in my center.
I got it.
Get right here, Jeff.
Why is it moving?
See it?
It disappears quick though.
Right, there it is.
Like it blinks or something.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Oh my,
See it? Yep.
Now, this could be somebody in there, but I don't think so.
Where the hell do they get from there?
Okay.
How do they get there? This is all freaking major trees. The only thing that's over is that golf course.
I'm seeing a fucking red.
So it could be a tower. Could it be a tower light?
No, we're going down.
That doesn't look like any of the other shine that I've seen.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
Seeing it?
Yep. It's a red light. That's somebody with that's a human with a headlight on.
Exactly.
Or
It could be something but they would have said, hey guys.
Hold on.
It's right. I can see it right there from here. I can see it.
Yeah.
And it keeps moving though.
Yeah, it's
on and off.
yeah, it's moving. It's a headlamp or something. Jeff, have you seen the red glow of their eyes? Like it doesn't look like that, right? Okay, that's not natural. In other
Can you
words,
pause it, Dave, without?
Yes, but so you can hear us all at once kind of go, there it is. You know, we all saw it. And I was in such, when I've listened to this like 2 or 3 times, remembering what I was going through. And I was trying to convince myself that it was someone with a headlamp with two headlamps. It makes no sense what I was trying to convince myself of. Because and Ronny, you and I went the next morning and looked in that area. And
right, we're thinking there was a road or something behind it, very short distance, and it was all woods.
If anyone had been in there with a headlamp, we would have heard them breaking branches and deep, thick woods. There's no way someone could have been walking there with a headlamp.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then Jeff, I'm trying to it's funny. I was like trying to reassure myself. I'm like, it doesn't look like that, right? It doesn't look that unnatural, right? Like I was freaking out, you know?
We walked over there because when we come out of where we were out over by that parking lot, Rebecca just kind of went off in that direction. She was getting some kind of a feel, and we just kind of followed. And then that led to all the events, which is the cool part of the cool part, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to find this other part. Hold on. I think I can pause the recording. Stand by. Okay, so now I'm going to play a little bit more of the audio as this anomaly becomes clearer to us. And again, you can hear us go through the progressions of trying to process whatever the hell we were looking at. Here we go.
It's moving.
I'm getting the chills. I'm getting the chills. Here we do. Here we do. What is going on? What is going on? That's an orb. What is going on? That can't be a person. I'm just saying right here. It's orange, guys. It's turning orange.
It's moving. What is it doing?
We're like kids in a candy store.
Mm-hmm.
My God. Can you come closer? Show us what.
Oh my God! Did you see that it jumped from up the down?
Show us what. Wow, that thing goes. What's that?
It is. It's getting close. People like it.
Yeah.
You can hear us almost turn into like, it's almost like prayerful.
We get reverent almost, and after the laughter subsides, those, in my estimation, that is 4 people going through an experience. And you said it, Rebecca, when we were playing that back just now. You're like, it's like kids in a candy store. It's like what we hoped happened would happen in a situation that actually started to happen, and our disbelief of like, oh my God, we're experiencing an orange orb. 2 red lights that look like eyes turn into an orange orb and dance around.
And they were weird. Yeah, they were like bouncing to rule out tail lights or a person with a light. There was just no way at that distance it was going to move in that direction or distance, actually. It was crazy. Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, this is something I was able to do on the podcast, but we never had video. I would like to now imitate Ronnie during this whole thing. Ready?
Oh, God.
Come on. Show us. He was down, just begging there. Come on, show us what you are. It was freaking awesome because I was like in fear. Ronnie was just like, "Let's go, do your dance."
You know what's
it was so beautiful that night too. We weren't freezing. It was
right. Well, what was incredible was the activity that we had there. Then we went back to the cabins area, and where right behind where the cabins were, where Jeff, you started walking on that trail, we're hearing that hum, and something came charging at you out of the woods, and we all started like screaming, running down. But when I looked back, there was a figure or something that was all black that was down on all fours, but it looked like something that was bipedal that was pretending to look like an animal on all fours. Do you remember seeing?
Ronnie, I got, all right, so I'm going to pause it again. I'm going to find that audio because this is an incredible moment. So we have that light experience. We go back to the cabins. We regroup. We take a path because as I remember it, we started talking about the Bigfoot television show that filmed right where the cabins were.
Monster Quest, yeah.
Monster Quest filmed right where and they said this was this access road somewhere back here. So we said, well, let's walk down there. And Jeff, you got charged. And Jeff, I defended you very vehemently in that episode, saying, yes, he ran.
You know what? It was that whole. It was
we all ran.
We all ran.
I wasn't even looking that direction until I heard all the noise. And then when I looked and I saw Jeff doing this, and I'm like, there's something in the road. I was like, holy crap, and I ran.
Well, I was worried like a monster would be like, I thought you said that guy's experience and he ran. And I was like, well, yes, he ran, but he also didn't push a woman aside as he ran like I did.
I
Now-
just got to say, if I would have known, if my good Pat, my new found best friends could have just said, "Hey, by the way, Jeff, you might want to run a little bit faster because there's a giant thing right behind you," I would have ran a little faster.
It was right in front of you. I don't know how you didn't see it unless like you couldn't focus. But with all the extra lights, it was bam, right in the middle of the road.
Now, you guys had something incredible happen the night after, and we
Yeah.
were going to try to stay an extra night to do another investigation, but we had to head back home. But you and Jeff had another encounter in that same road area behind the cabins, did you not?
Yeah.
You saw a figure, and
Yes.
Dr. Foster drew some pictures of what. Can you talk about what happened with that night? That was incredible. I was pissed we left.
Well,
That happened.
you know what? It was just we're going back to, we were by ourselves, and there just the people on the very end were there, and we thought let's just go see. It's enough light and the moon, and we didn't have anything. We had nothing with us. We went completely technology free, and I mean we didn't. I don't know why. I don't know why we didn't have anything. And we're walking. It was quiet, and it got creepy. And I thought, okay, I feel like we should probably get down. Let's just look like we're enjoying ourselves. And Jeff's like, okay. So we got down, and I thought, let's try to hint to it that we want to throw something. And so we're down looking at the ground, and I'm picking up rocks and I'm throwing them to Jeff, and then Jeff is throwing them some more. And we're just kind of doing this. And as I look up, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, I look up and the light refracts off of this thing that was not there a second ago. And it was huge and black. And I said, Jeff, do you see that thing in the trail up here? And he goes, off to the left. And I said, yeah. It wasn't there. And we just kept going, okay, let's just keep throwing the rock. So we did this for a few minutes. And did you know, I mean, I got nervous because it was like summoning an elephant. I said, what are you going to do when an elephant shows up in front of you? And so when I looked, I had to look away because it was so dark at that point. And I watched it, and it was just like, it was doing this. It wasn't moving. It was just moving.
Like almost floating towards you.
I said, Jeff, it doesn't make no noise. It's made no sound. And it's moving. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is this thing moving towards us? And he goes, yeah, it's getting bigger. And I thought, I don't want to stick around. Human nature kicked in at that point, got nothing with us. And I got nervous because this thing was gargantuan. It was huge.
How big? I think you said something like 8 to 10 feet.
It had to be, it had to be 8 to 10. It had to be a minimum of that. It just was.
Wow.
My God. Jeff,
Right
do you remember that, Jeff? And was it kind of like the blacker than black type of thing? Did you take it as more like paranormal, or this is a Sasquatch of some kind?
It's funny you say that because it was like we were kind of drawn back to that general area, but it wasn't that blackness. You remember the path, how it looked in the moonlight that ran down that way?
Yep.
Well, it was just like we're sitting there. It's like we're playing marbles, in the dark, just having a good time, nice conversation. And all of a sudden it's there, but you can almost see the outline of it from the moonlight.
Yeah.
It was, so you were just seeing a dark mass that had just, all of a sudden it's there. And I thought it was my eyes. And if Rebecca hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have probably said anything until it specifically was getting closer to us. And we're there for that. I mean, here's the moment of whatever.
Right.
And it was when Rebecca, when she got nervous, because I have full faith in everything she's feeling. It was like, all right, yeah, it is coming this way. And we are out here. There's literally nobody in this freaking park.
No one.
And so we thought we should slowly back out. Now, I walked backwards because I wasn't going to turn my back. But it was very intense. Oh, and I'm so sorry. I forgot to send those pictures. I said, don't say anything. We're both going to draw a picture when we get back to the cabin. Smart. And if you see those pictures, you'll die. It's the same picture.
Come on.
Wow.
All right. Well, can you send them to us after we're done, and we'll put them up on
Yeah, I could not find mine, and I said, Jeff, I can't find my picture, and he goes, oh, I have them. I'll send them.
Awesome.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
All right,
and I full well plan to.
I'm gonna pause this for 1 second because I want to play the sound of Jeff getting charged. Stand by while I find this. It'll take 13 seconds. Stand by. Okay, so the second incident when Jeff gets charged, I want to play that now. And Dr. Rebecca, you started to say, Matty, you were feeling this one, and this is the one that I felt right before it happened. I even started to say to Dr. Rebecca, I said something like, I think we're pushing too hard, or it's done with us.
Yeah, and you said, right? It's off to my left.
Yes.
Yeah, left.
Yes.
My other left.
And then it happened.
Yes.
So here we go. I think this is the sound of him getting charged. Here we go.
Play that back though. My reaction again. I just keep getting shaggy.
Second session. What the fuck was that?
Why did you hear that fucking thing come charging out?
I did. Why are we running? Everybody stop. Something just charged at Jeff. Holy fuck. And we all ran. I was totally unexpected that. I didn't think there'd be anything. It had to be an animal.
So there you go, Jeff. I mean, anyone would have run when you'd have something charge at you like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you know, I just wouldn't believe, I wouldn't believe all this if I hadn't experienced it with you three, with the four of us together. It was really an incredible event.
It was amazing. Yeah. That was crazy. It was.
It was crazy.
I want to ask you guys a question. I guess we'll start with Dr. Rebecca and then go to Jeff. So in processing all of this afterwards, and Ronnie knows this because I've told him a bunch of times, like, and I know it's not a popular opinion with a lot of people in the cryptozoological space, but, and granted, there's no doubt, mea culpa, I tend to gravitate towards this type of thinking anyway, but I cannot leave those woods in Ohio and feel like I had a biological experience. I felt like that was a paranormal experience. I felt like it was haunted woods. And I'm not saying that there aren't Bigfoot, and I'm not saying that that thing doesn't have hair or whatever, but I got the sense it had capabilities that we don't understand, that aren't of this earth. So Dr. Rebecca, how do you feel about that? Okay,
so I kind of think along the same line as you. It's just that it is it's a humanoid animal, and the difference is, it goes along with what you're saying, but the Native American culture, I mean, we're getting into, you know, there's the paranormal aspect, but I can't call it so paranormal. I don't want to exclude the fact that it probably has some form of spiritual properties to it, because those things are silent. They just hear. They're going through something. They're traveling somehow, and the more that I am communicating,
more interdimensional, right? Like,
yes, and the one in Ohio that we saw has asked me probably 10 times, "When are you coming back?"
What
yeah.
Now? Like afterwards?
After we left there, it was a constant. I've told Jeff, I've told, Russell, I've told everybody.
Wow.
Just asked, "When are you coming back?" And I'm doing the dishes, and I'm like, I can't yet. It's like a 10-hour drive, and everybody's at home. You know, there's.
So you're experiencing mind speak, which people talk about after having that experience. That it is communicating with you.
Yes.
Like remotely, like from Ohio to you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't you say at one point, I thought you said you thought one of them was a juvenile? Is that correct? You felt one of them was like a teenager? Maybe that's when they charged Jeff?
Yes. And when we were on the first path, there were several. And I remember a male coming up around us on the left when we got towards the
big, real big.
Mm-hmm. And Ronnie, you saw it too. And then there was movement. How about Ronnie? I mean, I swear it felt like everything that I saw, you were able to confirm, because then that one ran between trees. Silence. There was no noise.
That was the most amazing, one of the most amazing experiences I ever had, because you're like, okay, watch watch in between the darkness of the trees and look at the light. And we just focused on one point together, and this thing went
right between the trees.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Without a sound.
No noise. And so another thing that I get with them is light flickers, and maybe a white or a blue light flicker. And ever since this has all happened, there's been more of that happening with me, and I'll just be even laying down somewhere sitting, and the lights will flicker, and there's no light. There should be no light, but it will flicker, and I'll sit there and watch it, thinking, okay, what is attempting to manifest here? What is attempting? And my friend, again, who's Native American, he's actually the one whose voice that I played on that recording, because he helped me do a house cleansing.
Wow.
And so I have, been working, explaining everything to him as well. And he said that lights and blue lights will play effect in that. But back to your original question, I don't think they're paranormal. I think that they are historical. And I think that they are humanoids with an ability to travel through dimensions or through portals of some. There's something there, because they are fast and silent, and there's no excuse for a 400, 500 pound minimum animal to be able to traverse leaves, dry leaves, cracks, and not make a sound through a forest.
Jeff Beyers, how about you? Where do you put this experience?
It goes in. This is something like I don't really talk about in public. It goes into the book of experiences, and anybody that's spent time in the woods and has been, a lot of time at night, you are going to have these amazing, emotional, intelligent interactions. And you combine that with the stuff we don't talk about. And I know several people, it's just, they want to talk about apes, and I there may be that. I think there probably is, but there is also something else. We've seen the blue flickers. I've seen the sparkles. I've seen eye shine disappear into the spark. I mean, it's stuff you don't talk about. You're like, wow. And you put that in the back of your head until there's times like these when you can have these conversations. It's like, yeah, there's more to this story. Can I tell you exactly what I think it is? No, but I know there's a buttload more than what I thought was going on is happening. And that's that same curiosity. It makes me keep going back.
Amazing. Well, I could do this all night. We've taken too much of your time. I'm so glad we had this experience together. I'm glad it was the four of us. And to your friend's point, Dr. Rebecca, post-COVID, let's go see those creatures again, shall we?
Yes. Because when you guys, when I left, Jeff stood at the cabin window and started taking pictures. And Jeff, you have to send them the photos of the things that you caught.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that. With
the Native American squatchy looking dude that was.
Yes.
It was.
Oh my God.
Ronnie, we can lay all this in the video and you edit the video, right? I mean, we just lay those pictures in.
Those were amazing. Those pictures. Yeah.
Jeff, I'll have to have you resend me those images again, so I can with the other stuff. That'd be great.
Okay. Done.
Well, guys, thank you so much, Dr. Rebecca Foster.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
thank you, guys.
We miss you guys.
I know. I can't wait to get together as a group again.
All right.
We'd like to do Ohio again.
Hey,
definitely.
Yes. We're on our way.
And creaturereplica.com. Don't forget to check them out. Check out Dr. Rebecca Foster. She will give you reading, your spiritual guidance that you need in these crazy times.
Yes.
Thank you guys again. We love you.
Thanks a lot.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you guys too.
Something moved.
Fuck.
Just scared the shit out of me. Okay.
Thank you, Rebecca and Jeff. What an incredible interview. What incredible people. So much fun. Ronnie, let's do a little Factor Falcon, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's play another round of Fact or Falcon.
I'm a little amped up on coffee. Tonight is the, as we record this, it'll be over by the time people listen to this. But tonight is my big season finale for season 7 on the Curse of Oak Island History, 8 o'clock.
Awesome.
So I'm very excited to do my Facebook Live with my little fan page.
I love it. That's great.
That's why I comb my hair. All right. Factor Falcon, for those of you who don't know, new guests, new monsters who are just here for the first time. It's a game where we look at a piece of potential evidence. If we believe there's something to it, that it may be real, we call it fact. If we think it's faked or just nothing to it at all, it's a misidentification or something else, we call it Falcon. You can
came from Mark D'Antonio, the MUFON director of video analyst, not director, but video analyst specialist that they go to, and he debunks a lot of stuff. And we had a video that we both really liked out of, was it Utah? I think it was.
Yes.
And he's like, nope, Falcon. So we adopted that.
Yeah, he literally thought it was an actual bird, a falcon. So we stole the name. Well, we invented it. Okay, so I've just gone full screen, Ronnie, here. Let's take a look. I'm going to move you over. For those of you watching the video, you can see there looks to be a hand with appendages, with digits, with fingers, with big, huge, bulbous fingernails. You can see the knuckle joints. You can see that it's hairy. It's a pretty big hand. One picture.
This has been circling the past pretty like wildfire now, the past I would say week or so, a few days, and it's been showing up on all the different Bigfoot groups. And I thought it was really interesting because at first glance it does look like a hand with fingers and fingernails. That's my initial thing, but yeah, it said as of 2020, couldn't get any more strange. A buddy of a buddy found what appears to be a Bigfoot hand getting chewed on by a cougar in Washington State here by St. Helens-ish.
Ooh, that's very Squatchy. That's Squatchy territory. So that leans in its favor. We posted it. You can go to our Monsterland podcast Facebook page. We also did a poll on Twitter, which I'll get to in a second. Factor Falcon, is this the hand of Sasquatch?
What do you think, Matty? What's your initial reaction when you saw that?
I'm trying to first let me get rid of bias, because my bias is whenever it's a video of a potential Bigfoot or a ghost or anything,
you want it to be true.
Well, yes. Well, in this particular case, what I mean is when it's a video of something, I'm always open to it being real or fake. I am able to remain objective. However, when it comes to body parts and skeletons and skulls and heads, I'm immediately dubious, only because I can't think of one example of one of those panning out.
Right.
I'm not talking tracks. I'm talking like skulls and heads. Like, they're never Bigfoot.
Yeah,
right?
There was one a while back, right? If you remember that similar, there was a hand, and I think it ended up being a raccoon.
Right.
There was also the Bigfoot head that was revealed a year or so ago. I don't remember the exact dates. Again, supposed to be taxidermied or whatever it was.
Yes.
And so what do we have here? And you're right. For me, I want things to always be, here it is. Here's the evidence. Every time. But you have to be suspect. A buddy of a buddy, and was the cougar chewing on it, and it got. I mean, what's the backstory and all this?
It looks half eaten. Now it looks real, and it could be from an animal, no doubt, but of some kind, weathered and the rain could have soaked it and made it bigger than it really was. Whatever the elements, it could be bloated post mortem.
There is one comment on there. I forget who it was that said it. You can see the web in between the fingers, so they believe that it's possibly a beaver's paw that we're seeing. But
let's let monsters weigh in.
Monsters investigate.
Our monsters are on the case, Ronnie. Let's see. Now, someone, Sarah, I think it is Sarah HD, maybe. It looks like she is linked to some kind of article that might actually explain what these things are. Let's see here. So it's no comment link, but in the picture of the link, it looks like fingers. If you find one of these in your yard, don't panic, don't touch it. So let's see. These might look like fingers of the undead reaching up from the ground, but they don't belong to a human or a reanimated corpse at all. Wow, those look a lot like them, Ronnie.
Exactly. I'm looking at the comparison here, and that's creepy.
They're mushroom-like fungi.
Wow.
They're called dead man's fingers, they're called colloquially, like, I don't think that's the scientific name.
Well, after seeing that, I'm pretty convinced. I'm saying falcon here. I mean, geez,
however,
exactly like it.
It does. One of the pictures looks exactly like it. However, what is missing are those definitely distinct fingernails.
Well, if you go to that first picture, you can see what looks like fingernails on the comparison that you're just looking at, that website.
Oh shoot, I got it. Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but look at that one. That fingernail almost like comes off the finger. Those are. Patty says it looks pretty compelling with knuckles and fingernails. The lady who posted that says that is a fungus. Aaron says could be human. My dad's knuckles are that hairy.
Crystal says beaver paw.
Oh. Any other ones, Ronnie, you see there?
I see K Silence, who says falcon.
Monsters investigate.
Well done, monsters. Sarah HD with the potential solving of that mystery. Could be dead man's fingers fungi. I like that. Great job, team. Oh, we did a poll, Ronald.
Yes.
Oh, there's a picture of you, me, and Russ that just popped up so inexplicably. We did a poll on this very topic, and let's see what our monsters said, shall we? On our Twitter poll, by the way, we're at Monsterland Pod. Let's see, Ronnie, what did our fans say, our monsters? The question was posed to them. Do we think that this is fact or falcon? Do we think there's something to this supposed Bigfoot hand? What do you think? Is this an image of the hand of Sasquatch? It was being seen nibbled on by a cougar in Washington State Park. The choices were holy S yes, nah, that's ... or I don't know. Any guesses on who won that poll, Ronnie?
I'm going to say don't know.
The I don't knows have it at 47%.
47.
Next up was holy shit, yes. Actually, it was pretty close, 47 to 41%. And 12% said, nah, it's beaver paw or some other paw. Also, Marty shared with us, Marty Gras said, I took this print pic Saturday, April 25th near Chattahoochee River, West Point, Georgia. Very interesting circumstances surrounding this as well. Hey, Marty, and there's a picture of it right there. It's on our Twitter feed. If y'all want to go to our Monsterland at Monsterland Pod, scroll down under our poll, and you will see Marty Gras' picture of this track. This what could be a print. Wow, yeah, you can see the toes, Ronnie. It looks big, and he said there's what's more intrigues me more than the photos. He says there's very interesting circumstances surrounding this photo, this track. So I would love to hear that. So as a matter of fact, Marty, why don't you do this? Why don't you head on over to our Monster Mail? You can either send us a good old-fashioned mail, like email, or you can call us now on our monster voicemail, right, Ronnie? It's all the rage, really. In fact, why don't we go to monster voicemail right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Monsters, you know how much the boys love disembodied voices. So let's hear yours.
I got a shotgun and just scared that little bastard back into the creek.
Call 401-400-0965. Rates may apply.
Hey, is that legal copy? I don't do legal unless we renegotiate. We talked about this. You guys hear me? Oh, yeah, I guess I can just leave a voicemail.
So, Marty, who we just read your tweet, that's a perfect story we'd love to hear on our voicemail. And anyone listening, please call us. Like our friend here, Richard from Rockport, who you may remember from last week. I thought he had an interesting follow-up. Kind of living in the world, Ronnie, of a little bit of monster media.
Hi, Matty and Ronnie. This is Richard J. again from Rockport, Mass. Thanks for answering my question on Blair Witch. I thought that was great. Matty, you mentioned in another podcast you used to do, I think, with Pitsy and his friends, that Signs was one of your favorite movies. And it's one of mine, too. Can you tell me what you and Ronnie's feelings on the movie Signs, with Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, right? Pre-Joker Joaquin Phoenix. Thanks. Love the show. Bye.
Signs, the film Signs, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
And he wants to get our thoughts on the movie Signs. And I'm convinced, Ronnie, that Signs is one of those Close Encounters of the Third Kind movies that was given information about the truth of these, not only craft, but the entities that might work on them, and how it might play out, at least via the media. Now, I'm not saying that the government was trying to feed us that that they told M. Night Shyamalan, like, here's how an attack's going to happen, because it's going.
Yeah.
I just mean the way it would happen in the media, the way we would slowly kind of realize, like, oh, these things are landing everywhere. If they did decide to come down, I think there's a scene. Here's why I think that. There's a scene with Joaquin Phoenix when he's alone in the closet, and he sees that footage from like a Brazilian birthday party.
Yes, yeah.
And you see the alien just kind of walk by, and he stands up. It's just phenomenal filmmaking.
Incredible acting right there too.
Oh.
Just him. Oh.
And I think, like, boy, I believe that there's footage like that exists, that the government knows is real and has and got their hands on and hides from us. There's probably a lot of it. And that's going to change, though, because now people can just download stuff, and they're starting to. So I think a little bit of that was either collective consciousness that M. Night Shyamalan had, or someone on his set that kind of guided him a little bit on how these things might happen, and even whether M. Night knew that they were connected or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say that it's I think Close Encounters was definitely a movie that was fueled by information from Project Blue Book, and
Clearly.
Spielberg had conversations and all this stuff. I do feel, though, that M. Night Shyamalan, with The Sixth Sense and other movies, is kind of in that place of the human condition and consciousness, and UFOs kind of plays a big, aliens, other life plays a big part of that. And he's one of these people, I think, that are being used to help propel this idea, because it was definitely a kind of War of the Worlds situation, but instead of like a big city, what happens out in the middle of nowhere when you think you're safe,
Right. And look, we want to make them, if there are more than one, they can't all be these wonderful light creatures, right? And maybe like DeLong said, aerial threats, right? There's an element of threat. So if I work for the CIA or whatever the program is, that the shadow program that kind of controls this information and leaks it out, like Grant Cameron said, and I find out that M. Night Shyamalan's making a new movie about an alien invasion, you bet your ass I'm going to be on that set.
Right.
Or have someone on that set on my behalf, monitoring and or saying, maybe we'd see it on a video, and there's, maybe they don't like water, whatever they know, you know what I mean?
Well, the whole thing with the gray aliens, and I forget which particular documentary top of my head, but they talked about a specific thing that, they like strawberry ice cream. And it was so kind of outlandish, but maybe that's so specific was actually is real and true, and then one of those things that do like just like Sasquatch likes peanut butter.
Yeah.
Right? Like it works. I don't know.
I think there's a family of Sasquatch living in this house because we go through peanut butter like I don't know where it goes. Well, your people, the tall whites, Ronnie, because you're a tall white, as we established last week.
Oh my God.
The rumor about them is that they love gambling. They love Vegas.
True.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'd put them in like sheets to cover their heads because they hated and then with hats and the sunglasses, and they would just go gamble all the time. And it's like, what a weird thing to invent.
Very true. Yeah. Strange. Yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction, right? So it's like, hey, maybe that is the case.
Ronnie, we also have regular it's funny, I was going to say old-fashioned mail, which would be writing a letter, but we have old-fashioned mail via the world we're in now, which is, of course, our email, our monster mail. That's monsterlandreport@gmail.com, monsterlandreport@gmail.com. And Ronnie, we got a beautiful note, a few, but I just want to get to one here because we're running a little late. Tim Schiffer sent us a note. Do you have this one, Ronnie?
I do. He sent us a message on Facebook and
read that
our Facebook page. Yeah, that was so cool. He's like, your show is one of my favorites. I'm a farmer. I farm hops, corn, soybean, wheat, and cattle. Needless to say, I'm outside listening to my earbuds all the time. Thank you for doing a show like this that makes my experiences not seem crazy. So I wonder what he's seeing. Tim, talk to us. I'd love to hear more about what are your experiences that you're having that you feel that you might be crazy, because it sounds like, are you seeing UFOs and different things, cattle mutilations? What's happening? We'd love to hear from you.
Call that number. Let us hear it on the aforementioned voicemail, or you can leave us a monster mail. Ronnie, honest to God, we've said it before, and this isn't the Academy Awards or anything, but that type of email honestly does keep us going.
It gives us a boost. It does.
Because we've said a million times, we don't make money off this. We do it because we love it. We're passionate about it. And the idea that every time I don't want to edit, or every time Ronnie doesn't want to book a guest or whatever, the idea that someone in Iowa or wherever in the country has their earbuds in and is listening and laughing along with us, or thinking or scared or interested at all, it really does chokes me up. And it motivates me, and I go, let's go. Let's do another episode. I love that. I love that. So we can't hear. Yeah, we're working in a vacuum. We can't hear from you enough. Please. Which actually, Ronnie, I want to do a quick announcement based on what you just brought up. It just occurred to me. Let me get some here.
Yeah.
Let me get a good announcement sound effect. Okay, here we go. This is a big announcement. Monsterland exclusive. We have a Monsterland exclusive drop, but producer Dave has it. So let's see what I got here. I just randomly picking whatever I play is going to be the announcement. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You are very jacked.
I'll try another one that might be better.
Just random. Just try another
one.
I am known for my hip hop cred.
Ronnie, our announcement is we teased our Patreon page, speaking of not making money on this thing, so that you could donate monsters if you wanted to. And we know, and we're going to provide you a service. We're not just going to ask for donations. We're going to provide you extra content.
More content.
There were some things I cut out of this interview we did tonight that I definitely would have put on Patreon for those of you members. We decided, Ronnie and I, quick announcement on Patreon. This was the episode we were going to launch it with. We were going to make this interview with Jeff and Rebecca our first Patreon video.
Correct.
And just do a whole separate episode for you. Ronnie contacted me and said, I feel weird. You don't mind talking about this, right?
No.
Yeah. He goes, I feel weird asking for money. And it's like, before you even finish the text, I was like, I literally set up a Matty does hosting online classes just because I was bored. I wasn't trying to make a buck.
Right.
I was just bored. So I was like, you know what? I'll do 1 hour private coaching sessions, TV hosting for anyone on my fan page. And I was sitting with Max. I go, nah, I'm going to wait on this. He's like, why? I said, I don't want to ask for money right now with the COVID thing going on. And Max is like, well, wait a second. My 15-year-old, very wise. He said, you're providing a service, and People don't have to pay you for it. If no one does it, then no one does it. But people might have money and might want to. You're providing them distraction during this time. They might get excited. And I was like, I hear you. All valid arguments. I just don't want to put up something that says $100, I'll do it. And then I was like, well, I can do it for free, but then I'm super crazy. So anyway, when you sent me that, it was like a relief. I was like, yeah, I don't want to.
There's a lot of people struggling. Yeah, there's a lot of people struggling right now. And if there's anything that we can do and give this podcast as, whether it's to make you laugh, make you think, kind of why we started this in the first place, right? It wasn't, we knew we weren't doing it as a monetary thing, but I think now more than ever, we're kind of needed. We need that. People need to have that entertainment, that chance to kind of take a break from what's going on. And we may talk about what's going on out there, but I think that we're providing something a little bit more than that. So we can do that for free. I would love to keep it that way.
So I think we've decided we're not going to release Patreon until till Desert Storm is over.
Right.
Is the Desert Storm over?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. Until every state is back to work. How about that? Till every state passes whatever it is, phase alpha, whatever the hell. I don't know. When everyone's back to work, we'll get a sense for that, and we'll start doing the Patreon. Okay. And in the meantime, we'll put little things up there for everybody and just tease them on it.
Yeah.
Speaking of entertaining people, Ronnie, let's wildly disappoint them with our lame new game, Matty's Believer or Not.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I would feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
Okay. If you are a new listener, this is a game we launched last week. I'm a big fan of it. No one else is.
So fun. I love it. I do. I love it.
I'm going to name you a celebrity, Ronald, and you can play along at home in your cars, or if you're farming your soybeans or whatever the hell you're doing. You try to predict, is this celebrity a believer or not? Okay? A believer or not? Ronnie?
Okay.
Stepping into the Believe It or Not booth is a celebrity who appeared on a classic Fox nighttime dramedy. He's a British-trained comedian actor, but this show broke him in the United States. His name is Hugh Laurie, betterwise known as Dr. House. Paging Dr. House, you're next on Believer or Not. Ronnie, is Dr. House a believer or not?
I'm going to say no.
All right, let me get this straight. You say that Hugh Laurie, British comedian actor, Dr. House, doesn't believe in things. Final answer.
Not a believer.
All right, final answer. You want to phone a friend? You want to phone one of our, you want to phone the farmer?
No, pretty confident on this. Although I love that talk to Tim.
I have a quote from Hugh Laurie. When asked about things you couldn't see and God, Hugh Laurie responded, I'm not a religious man. I find I'm a fan of science. I believe in science, a humility before the facts. I find that a moving and beautiful thing, and belief in the unknown, I find less interesting. I find the known and the knowable interesting enough. Ronnie, you're 2 for 2.
Dang.
You're 2 for 2 in Believer or Not.
He strikes me as very similar to his character that he had played on House. I feel like there's a reason why he plays certain roles, right? Like there was an element there. And I just think that he's one of those guys that's like, no way.
Good reasoning, Ronnie. Well done. All right, let's wrap it up because tonight's episode was so much fun. And I don't think we could do any better than that interview. Thank you so much to Rebecca, Dr. Foster, and Jeff Beyers. Find Rebecca Foster online. She will do your readings for you, your psychic readings.
Her website is godstool.com.
And you can go to Creatureplica for Jeff Beyers. There he is again, one more time, the North American Sasquatch. A great gift for any Squatch fan in your house. You know what? It's even a better gift for someone like Hugh Laurie who doesn't believe in these things. Give him one of those for Christmas and watch him laugh and freak out. All right, Ronny, I just want to thank our friends at Dell's Coffee, dellscoffee.com. Reminder, we are on Adori, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Munchland Report at gmail.com to mail us. Our voicemail, once again, 401-400-0965. That's 09ML. We'll be back again next week. Quarantine podcasting continues. For Ronny LeBlanc, for producer Dave, I'm Matty Blake. This is Monsterland. Until then, stay monstrous, everybody.
See you guys.